Halo guys, balik lagi di channel BadRush. Jadi hari ini mari kita lanjutkan kembali perjalanan kita di Genshin Impact ya. So hari ini tapi pertama-tama gue jelasin dulu guys. Jadi sebenarnya semalam ini gue record pagi ya, ini habis sahur gua, habis subuh juga. Jadi apa namanya, semalam itu sebenarnya gue udah record guys, gue udah record story questnya Ayato, karena hari ini, bukan hari ini sih, kemarin 2 hari atau kemarin ya, gue lupa, kayaknya 2 hari yang lalu eventnya itu sudah mulai guys. Kita cek dulu, sorry bukan ini, event festival di Inazuma West of the Violet Garden ini udah mulai guys. Nah terus kalau kalian pengen mengunlock full experience, kalian harus menyelesaikan The Firmianali Falls. The Firmianali Falls ini adalah story questnya Ayato. Jadi kemarin tadi malam gue itu sudah record story questnya Ayato. Cuman ya seperti biasa ya, gue nggak tahu lagi nih, tidak ada pemberitahuan, tidak ada apa. Ya biasa pas record udah ending guys, udah mau selesai, mati lampu ya, mati listrik. Jadi gua minta maaf di sini, jadi nggak bisa nggak record ya, udah korup, udah apa ya namanya ya, nggak record, sudah tidak kesimpan. Jadi sorry banget, gua nggak bisa nayangin story questnya Ayato. Cuman gua bisa nayangin endingnya aja. Jadi gua itu berhenti di sini guys, gua itu berhenti di The Wind Settles. Ini kayaknya udah endingnya, karena gue itu udah record hampir 1,5 atau hampir 2 jam gitu, pokoknya udah 1 jam lebih ya kan. Biasanya emang story quest lebih dari 1 jam kan. Nah udah ending, jadinya ini tuh udah mau ke konklusi, udah mau ke endingnya, cuman malah mati lampu. Emang I don't know lah, BUMN cuman menurut gua at least dikasih peringatan lah kalau mau matiin. Soalnya ini udah bukan yang pertama kali guys, ini udah berkali-kali, setiap malam atau setiap sore dimatiin, nggak tahu kenapa, padahal ini wilayah Jogja loh ya. Ya kan maksudnya iya sih, gua ngerti kalau di luar Pulau Jawa kadang ada yang emang sudah dimatiin, tapi kan itu emang sudah biasa mereka. Kalau di Pulau Jawa kan emang listrik sudah 24 jam kan ya, dan semoga pembangunan dan pemerataan segera terjadi di luar Jawa juga ya. Cuman maksudnya ya at least kasih tahu lah, kan kita sudah dimintain dimintain nomor telepon, dimintain email untuk daftar ini itu. Masa tidak ada pemberitahuan. Soalnya gue yakin ini bukan karena kecelakaan guys, karena ini udah berkali-kali sebenarnya gue mengalami mati lampu, dan pas aja pas gue record mati. Yang kemarin pas aja pas gue nggak record pas mati lampu itu. Tapi yang pas tadi malam itu gue kesel banget, soalnya udah ending anjir. Soalnya gitu guys, kadang tuh dikasih beritahu di email bakal ada perbaikan atau apa, dan kadang pun itu nggak tepat waktunya. Maksudnya biasanya mereka ngasih tahu jam 3 ada mati lampu gini, tapi jam 3 tidak mati, atau mungkin matinya besok, atau mungkin matinya kemarin tanpa ada pemberitahuan. Jadi pemberitahuannya tuh kadang nggak tepat ya sebenarnya. Jadi curhat ya, cuman ya mau gimana lagi ya, semoga ada perbaikan lah dari BUMN yang mengurus listrik itu ya, biar tidak ada kejadian kayak gitu lagi. Jadi biar itu siap-siap kan, maksudnya nggak semua orang nggak semua orang tuh ready gitu loh. Nggak semua orang, mungkin ada yang masih kerja, mungkin kayak gue masih record, atau mungkin masih ada yang garap tugas kan, kita nggak ada yang tahu gitu loh. Jadi kan at least kalau dikasih pemberitahuan, dikasih peringatan kan, kita jadi bisa siap-siap untuk tidak melakukan aktivitas di jam segitu gitu loh. Kalau ada peringatannya, at least gue nggak akan record semalam, dan gue mungkin bakal recordnya pagi ini. Kita akan mulai dari Ayato dari awal. Cuman ya karena tidak diberitahu tiba-tiba mati lampu ya, gue minta maaf guys. Jadi gue minta maaf tidak bisa menayangkan Ayato, cuman gue bisa menayangkan endingnya. Tapi intinya gue recap aja sebelumnya. Jadi endingnya itu kalau kalian ingat pas awal-awal kita sampai Inazuma, kita kan disuruh untuk ngirim surat dari si cewek yang di Rito ke kepala yang sekarang udah jadi kepala, yang anaknya kepala Kujou Clan gitu loh, yang surat cinta lah katanya. Tapi ternyata kita nggak tahu isi suratnya tuh gimana kan, tapi katanya emang anaknya Kujou Clan yang sekarang jadi yang itu, yang kalau story questnya si A terus gelut sama si A itu yang pakai kacamata itu. Nah itu emang suka sama si anaknya yang punya Rito ini kan, commission kan ada di Kamisato, ada yang di Kujo sama ada yang di sini kan. Nah jadi mereka itu mau melangsungkan pernikahan, cuman dimanfaatkan lah oleh oknum yang ada di Rito ini, karena kan sebenarnya bapaknya yang cewek ini itu kan dimasukin penjara guys. Kalau misal si anak cewek ini akhirnya nikah sama Kujo clan, nah si anak ini bakal ikut klannya kan, biasanya emang cewek ikut klannya suaminya kan. Nah ntar bakal ada kekosongan kepemimpinan di sini. Nah kan sebenarnya komisioner itu diisi dari beberapa klan gitu loh. Jadi kalau nggak ada yang ngisi, jadi beberapa klan itu terus milih satu klan yang jadi pemimpin. Nah karena anaknya cuma cewek dan sekarang dia dilamar dan mau diambil sama Kujo clan, kan otomatis dia bakal ngikut klan suaminya. Nah kalau seperti itu kan bakal jadi kekosongan di Rito ini. Nah itu dimanfaatkan oleh orang-orang biar segera nikah, biar yang ada klan-klan di sekitar itu bisa naik jadi pemimpin yang di Rito sini gitu ceritanya. Nah cuman kita mencium ada bau curiga ya, maksudnya klan-klan yang lain mungkin sepertinya tidak mumpuni lah, emang mau niat memanfaatkan aja sebagai pemimpin di sini. Makanya terus kita hentikan bareng Ayato dan kita juga gitu. Terus terus ya seperti itulah intinya. Cuman gue belum tahu, jadi sebenarnya ada satu penjaga yang gue nggak tahu, kelihatannya suka sama putri yang di sini. Cuman kita belum tahu ini beneran suka atau emang, soalnya dia nangis guys, mungkin tapi di ceritanya bilang dia nangis atau dia sedih kenapa harus nikah buru-buru tuh karena dia tahu rencana orang-orang ini kalau segera nikah si cewek ini sebelum bapaknya bebas. Gua nggak tahu juga bapaknya, gua lupa sih sebenarnya bapaknya ada kasus apa kok masuk penjara. Nah, ntar kepemimpinan di sini ntar bakal jadi rebutan gitu loh. Makanya dia sedih kalau si cewek nikah sama si Kujo clan di sini. Ntar bakal ya ada kericuan lah di sini gitu. Tapi kok kelihatannya cemburu ya, sebenarnya bukan karena itu, cuman gua nggak tahu. Jadi ya udah, yuk langsung aja kita lanjutkan gitu aja ya. Intinya ada pernikahan, tapi pernikahannya itu disinyalir buat jadi alat untuk bisa mengambil kepemimpinan di sini kan, karena cewek kan, kalau dia diperistri sama klan lain kan otomatis dia bakal ikut klan suaminya itu, sehingga klan di sini kosong karena klan yang di sini emang tinggal putrinya, sedangkan si bapaknya masuk penjara, nggak tahu kenapa masuk penjara. Oke, jadi terus habis itu sekali lagi gue jelasin, terus kita hentikan bareng Ayato. Jadi udah ketemu Ayato segala macam, jadi Ayato dan kita yang menghentikan rencana itu, dan sekarang sudah mau ending. Jadi seperti itu aja intinya. Jadi ya udah langsung aja kita selesaikan story questnya Ayato ya. Jadi habis ini langsung kita ke event aja guys, tenang. Karena harusnya kan ini hari ini gua record buat eventnya doang, tapi gara-gara mati lampu ya jadi gua nge-record ini. Kayaknya udah ending, harusnya udah ending sih, endingnya Ayato sama tinggal event kita. Event hari pertama ya, kayaknya bakal berhari-hari, maksudnya nggak langsung sampai tamat gitu loh. Jadi yuk langsung kita mulai. The wind settles, let's go. Ini sebagian udah udah gua alami, scene-nya udah gua alami, cuman kan pasti ngulanginnya dari awal, jadi ya udah nggak apa-apa. Jadi ini ceritanya kita bawa si putri sama si orang yang mau bikin merebut kekuasaan lah, ini untuk minta maaf ini. Semoga kalian ngerti ya, tapi kalau kalian bingung gak apa-apa, lihat di guideline guys, banyak. Oke?
Yashiro Commissioner, I'm sure you've heard the news. The Tenryo Commission has now occupied Rito, refusing to leave until we hand Lady Hiragi over to them. I realize I have greatly offended you with my atrocious actions, and I realize also that this must sound like the very height of absurdity. But please, Have mercy, good sir.
I'm sorry, Mr. Matsura. I'm exceptionally busy and have but a moment to spare before my next engagement. I fear this leaves no time for small talk. So, please, if you would be so kind, get straight to the point.
I know our apology means nothing to you, but we really have nothing else left to offer by this point. I'm terribly sorry. Everyone in the entire Kanjo Commission now realizes the gravity of this situation. Lady Hiragi is indispensable to us. We promise to always support her. So, would it be at all possible for you to talk to Sir Kujo once more, on our behalf?
You make it sound so easy. The Tri-Commission will be ridiculed by the public if we choose to withdraw the notices now and eat our words. What do you plan to do about this? To lose face for the Tri-Commission is to bring shame to Her Excellency. Are you and your associates ready to face the thunderous wrath of the almighty Shogun?
We
Oh, the Alwick
will
is so
take
good.
full responsibility. We'll publish a new notice and hold a conference to explain the situation. We will make sure that the public knows this was all a huge misunderstanding. We'll do everything we can to minimize the impact. Everything we can.
Master Matsura, you should have known it would come to this. Whatever were you thinking? But the Tri-Commission must always put the interests of Inazuma first, regardless of what Sir Kujo and I may feel at this present moment. If the situation in Rito is left to fester any further, things may get out of control. But Lady Hiragi and the inhabitants of Rito are innocent. If we fail to contain the situation promptly, the rumor mill will wreak havoc on the Tri-Commission's reputation. Try keeping a pet bird. You'll see what I mean. Songbirds who know how to hold a tune can be very pleasant to listen to, but they can also become irritating if they don't know when to stop. And as for the ones with excessively long tongues, well, they're so insufferable that they can't be kept as pets at all. But it doesn't take a moment to cut out their tongues and silence them for good.
Yes, I understand.
I've listened to your concerns, and I'll talk to Sir Kujo for you. But I can't guarantee that he will change his mind.
I understand. Thank you for your help, Yashiro Commissioner.
All right, you ought to return now. I'm sure you have a sizable mess to deal with back in the Kanjo Commission.
Okay, then please excuse me. Thank you once again, Commissioner.
Oke, sudah minta maaf Matsura dan pengen menyelesaikan semuanya.
Ah, yes,
Pengen
Lady Hiragi.
beresin semua.
I have something to tell you.
Dia yang
Would you
ini
mind?
guys, yang ngeplot ini,
Why, of course.
yang membuat kekacauan ini guys.
Sir Kamisato, you became a completely different person just now. It felt so intense.
Unruly servants like him need to be severely reprimanded. As a commissioner, the almighty Shogun trusts me to do her will. I did as I should. But now, I'd like to take off my commissioner hat and share a personal story with you.
Oh, please. I'd love to hear it.
You must have heard that the Kamisato clan once went through an extremely difficult period. My father worked incredibly hard to compensate for the grave errors made by the Kamisato clan long ago and restore our reputation. The work took a toll on his health and ultimately led to his untimely demise. My mother loved him dearly. She passed soon after. This sudden turn of events dealt a heavy blow to the Ashiro Commission. Behind the scenes, things became very unstable. Everyone thought that the Kamisato clan had lost power. That made my sister and me nothing but burdens, hindering the ambitions of others. It may sound preposterous now, but I assure you that is the truth of what the Ashiro Commission has been through.
Huh. Pretty similar to how the Kanjo Commission is now.
Back then, I had no choice but to accept the position I was in. While I desperately looked around for powerful supporters, I endured smear campaigns and attempts to exploit me. I had no other choice. I had to honor my parents' dying wishes, and I also had a young sister to take care of. I didn't mind what became of me, but my family. No one can ever be allowed to trample over my precious family. Fortunately, I persisted, and the Kamisato clan was able to survive the storm.
I think I now know where my sense of loss and confusion was coming from. Shinojo once told me that he saw what was in me in a way that no one else did. That's why he couldn't
Nah,
bear to see
Shinojo
me live
ini
the
yang
rest
gua
of my
kira
life
kayaknya suka
depending
sama
on someone
ini
else.
Hirakichi satu deh
I thought
guys.
the reason I
Kayaknya
felt
ya,
unsettled
kita
was
cek
because of
nanti.
uncertainty over getting married.
Soalnya dia yang
The
nangis-nangis.
fact is, it's
Pas
because
mau
I
nikah
felt too
ini
young and
ceweknya ini.
inexperienced to handle the situation facing me.
The reason why Sir Kujo was able to face the prospect of marriage so confidently is because he's prepared for anything.
That's it. The situation I'm facing now is the same one he faced back then. When his clan was in crisis, he bravely drew his blade and challenged the almighty Shogun. And now, it is time for me to make a stand and become my own person.
Well said. I'm sure once you have grown and gained confidence, your father will be able to let go and allow you to decide how you want to live the rest of your life. It might not sound exciting, but this kind of personal growth is a necessary step in the pursuit of true happiness.
And I'm sure I can get there. I will use this as an opportunity to take over the responsibilities of the Hiragi clan. I'll think about marriage again after everything is more settled. This puts less pressure on Kamaji, and means I can support and protect myself without having to worry about becoming a burden or dependent on someone else.
My best wishes to both of you were and remain heartfelt. When the time comes for the wedding to go ahead, I will come to congratulate you once more.
Thank you, Sir Kamisato. I am grateful for everything you have shared with me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a lot to deal with back home.
Take care, Lady Hiragi. I'm confident that on your return, you will find your Kanjo Commission associates most receptive to your instruction.
Yes, in fact, my recent experience suggests the same. Thank you once again.
Oke.
She really has the air of a leader now. Hats off to you too, sir. Everyone thought there was no way out until you pulled that super smart strategy out of nowhere.
In fact, counter-checking is a perfectly
Kalau
common
bisa
maneuver
ngulang
in the
gua
game of
ngulang
chess.
anjir.
Our rival this
Masalahnya
time
nggak
was
bisa
easy to
ngulang, nggak
deal
kayak
with.
hangout event.
He was smart,
Hangout
but
event bisa
short-sighted,
diulang.
and sloppy in his execution. This outcome is entirely within my expectation.
Even so,
Cuman
Karna
nggak apa-apa,
could never
guys.
come up
Ya
with a
sudah lah.
plan that cunning in a whole lifetime.
Apa yang sudah terjadi ya
Anyway,
sudah terjadilah.
It's kind of a relief to see that Chisato has decided to set the Hiragi clan straight.
I agree. Stability in Inazuma benefits me as well. I wasn't about to pass up an opportunity to make less trouble for myself. Well, the fact is that I am first and foremost the Yashiro Commissioner. Perhaps for Master Matsura, power is his life's pursuit. But for me, nothing matters more than the stability of Inazuma. A stable nation is the prerequisite for a stable Yashiro Commission. Only then can the Kamisato clan and the other Yashiro Commission clans have a peaceful existence. But human desire will always be a factor in the equation. This is not the first situation of its kind, nor will it be the last. All I have tried to do is make sure the three parties to the Tri-Commission serve to restrain each other. Stasis is not the only form of stability. A balance of power leaving no room for maneuver achieves the same end. Another positive outcome is that everyone recognizes how important Lady Hiragi is now. I think I did her a sizable favor in that regard. Dealing with the Hiragi clan will be much easier for her than navigating a new and unfamiliar one.
There were so many things at play over this one wedding. Wait a second. You weren't trying to stop the wedding from the very beginning, were you?
I thought straight away it was bad timing. Nevertheless, everything I said to Hiragi Chisato was entirely sincere. If you choose to give up your stance on something once, you'll be having to compromise for the rest of your life. I didn't want to see her suffer because she didn't realize what she was getting into. Now, she has the chance to become her own person. Let's see who she becomes.
Okay then. Guess we'll have to wait and see.
All right. Farewell, and profuse thanks to you both. I shall have to host you at the Kamisato estate when my sister is next available.
Udah beres. Udah beres kan? Harusnya udah beres sih.
Looks like everything's resolved. Masterfully done. Everything was perfect. Well, except for one minor detail. I somehow ended up with a glass of very peculiar tasting milk.
Didn't you like it? I distinctly remember you saying you are quite partial to exotic flavors.
Oh, my lord.
The Traveler had one of those as well.
I'm sure she's made a great impression on you.
The Traveler did indeed play a critical role in this case. I'm sure both families would have been more guarded against me had she and her companion not been present. It wouldn't have been so easy to get to the heart of the matter.
There you go again, my lord. Placing the focus on other people while discreetly performing your job to perfection.
Naturally. Ah, yes. Now that we're both free, let's finish off that game of chess we started a few days ago.
Masih lanjutkah atau gimana ini? Oh, sudah beres. Jadi seperti itu guys. Sorry, cuma endingnya doang. The win settles. Oke. Jadi karena apa ini? Oh iya, langsung ya. Jadi langsung aja event. Jadi karena cuma endingnya doang, jadi ya udah langsung aja event details kita cek dulu benar-benar. Oke, complete. Oke. Oke, kayaknya ini I don't know ini, cuman nanti deh. Yang jelas langsung spesial ini apa ini? Oh, terus dapat ini. Oke. Dapat Shinchu anjir. Pelican Legend of the Castle. Oke. Anjir, banyak, Cok. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. Banyak ternyata. Oke. Jadi hari ini mari kita langsung lanjut. Kita akan selesaikan event ya. Quest event sudah langsung muncul kan? Ya. Langsung masuk ke story quest ya. Jadi yuk langsung aja kita mulai. Jadi jatuhnya kayak eventnya ini ya. Albudi ya kan berhari-hari tuh. Albudi 2.3 tuh loh guys ya kan. Sama ini event apa? Lantern Red juga berhari-hari kan kalau nggak salah, nggak langsung beres. Jadi yuk langsung saja kita selesaikan satu ini dulu. Act 1 ya. Benar, sorry, bentar lagi. Jadi ya kan Act 1 kita cek dulu. The Tales of Violet Garden Act 1. Ya, jadi kita selesaikan satu ini dulu. Kalau ternyata langsung udah kebuka lagi ya ini besok lah ya. Oke. Jadi Act 1 dulu, mari kita bereskan. Let's go.
Hi, Catherine. We heard that you have a new commission for us.
That's correct. There's a requester who has submitted a designated commission for the two of you.
A designated commission? Sounds like it must be pretty important. What kind of task is it exactly?
There's no need to worry.
Panjang loh
This
guys, ada
commission is
banyak
not
banget ini,
dangerous by
8
any
anjir.
means. Perhaps you have heard that Inazuma will soon be holding a major festival, the magnificent Irodori Festival.
Yay! A festival! Oh, come to think of it, we haven't attended a festival in Inazuma for a while.
The Yashiro Commission and Lady Yae are responsible for all the festival preparations. The one who has requested your help is none other than Lady Yae herself.
Oh, it's Miko
You
Commission.
know Miko, she always has some unusual ideas in her head. You can bet a festival planned by her is gonna be one to remember. We'd better go to Grand Narukami Shrine and see what she needs us to do.
Lady Yae is currently at Yae Publishing House in Hanamizaka, so there is no need to go all the way to the shrine. In fact, she has instructed me to have you directly meet with her there.
Oh, well that's convenient enough. Let's go then.
Oke, kita ketemu. Let's go. Langsung saja. Act 1 ya, kita bereskan Act 1 hari ini, besok Act 2. Oke. Kita ke rumah publishing house. Itu deh.
Aratani and Kuroda, how are things coming along?
All the books and commission prints for Yae Publishing House were bound and sent out yesterday afternoon, Lady Yae.
Very good. And Murata?
We have already received word from Ape Kusu and Sailing Breeze that the materials are all in place
Tawa.
for Shogun Almighty Reborn as Raiden with Unlimited Power and Pretty please, Kitsune Guji.
Well done. And what about you, Onodera?
Oh dear.
Ahem. Onodera?
Oh, yes, Lady Ai. Everything is ready for the new issue release party.
You are the one who organized the plans for this release party. In other words, you are the team's fearless leader now. So please, show some confidence. Besides, there's no need to be nervous. This project is destined for success. I feel quite optimistic about it. I shall specially grant you leave for the next couple of days, Onodera. Please take the opportunity to have a good rest. After all, you will be very busy on the day of the release party.
Yes, Lady Ai. Thank you very much.
All right then. Is everyone clear about their assignments? Good. We're running out of time, so let's get moving. Chop chop! Ah, hello, little ones. I take it you have received my commission,
Some organizer you are! It's nearly time for the festival and you're still over here ramping things up for your light novel business! Shouldn't you be getting back to the Grand Narukami Shrine? You weren't thinking of dumping all the festival preparations on us, were you? If so, then you can forget it! Paimon won't accept such a commission!
My, such harsh words. It hurts to hear that kind of talk from you two. But as you can clearly see, I'm here working like a dog for the festival. Yet you say I'm not doing my job. Let me ask you, little ones. Whoever said that the festival must involve the Grand Narukami Shrine?
Huh? But isn't that a given? This is Inazuma after all.
Yes, that is true. But now that the Sokoku decree has been lifted, Inazuma is no longer the same nation that once resisted change tooth and nail. Therefore, rather than sticking to the same old traditional festival, the Yashiro Commission and I have decided to shake things up a little. This time we'll be holding an international cultural festival, distinctly Inazuman, but with a unique twist.
Tapi sayangnya kok
I
Liu nggak
suppose I
diajak
should
ya?
start
Apa
by telling
ntar
you the
diajak guys? Gua nggak
origins
tahu
of the
sih.
Iridori Festival. Legend has it that there were 5 poets in ancient Inazuma who were supremely gifted in singing and writing poetry. They are known as the 5 Kasen. Every year, one of the 5 would present a collection of the group's poems to the shogun for review, which would then spark culture discussions regarding those works. Thanks to them, Inazuma's culture blossomed and gained great influence at that time. As time passed, people began creating various tales based on the 5 Kasen. The Iridori Festival was also developed as a result to show appreciation for their works, which so greatly enriched our lives.
Sounds like a festival that's really rooted in culture.
Indeed. To describe it in the words of the ancients, it'd be refined elegance. Unfortunately, with the flow of time, people have gradually forgotten about the 5 Kasen and the festival, which is precisely why I've decided to revive the Iridori Festival by holding a cultural convention featuring light novels.
But wait a minute! Light novels?
Please stop looking at me with those baffled expressions. In ancient times, poetry was all the rage, but nowadays the entertainment format of choice is light novels. The important thing is not the format, but the creative work itself. It is impossible to come up with anything fresh if you're stuck using some rigid format of the past. Speaking of which, don't you think that the concept of focusing on the now perfectly suits the current Inazuma? And besides, it's a great opportunity to reintroduce Inazuma to all Teyvat through light novels. As they say, it's 2 birds with 1 stone.
Whoa, that was close. Paimon was nearly carried away by Miko's persuasive tongue. Come on, Miko! You can't fool us. We know you by now. This is all definitely stemming from your own personal interest.
I can't deny that my hobbies had no part to play in this. However, regardless of whether it's light novels or a festival, catching people's attention with a fresh concept is the essence here. Well, what do you say? Aren't you two even a little curious about what interesting things you might see at the festival?
Maybe a little. Oh, all right. Paimon's super curious now.
Come, let's pay a visit to the venue in Rito together. I promise that it will give you a whole new perspective on the festival. There we'll meet a special someone who will tell you more about your tasks.
Oke, kita ke Rito. Oh, langsung scene kayaknya. Enggak nih. Ngapain tadi? Pakai acara loading segala. Nggak langsung pindah, anjir. Gak jelas. Oke, kita sampai ya.
During the Iridori Festival, the area around the Outlander Affairs Agency will become the main exhibition space for light novels. Once things are in full swing, not only will there be lots of official and fan-created work on display, there will also be exclusive giveaways, prizes, and new release parties. This small plaza in front of the International Trade Association will be called the 5 Kasen Plaza during the festival, and nearby shops will be selling special light novel merchandise. You certainly won't want to miss out.
Wow. How should Paimon put this? It's definitely not your typical festival, but it sure looks like it'll be quite the party. Huh. Miko, what are these blank boards in the center of the plaza?
Yes, those are...
Ah, Lady I did mention that there would be some reliable helpers coming to assist with the festivities. It appears she meant you two. At last we meet again, Traveler and Paimon. Tell me, how are you faring recently?
Oh, it's Ayato! Wow, so even a busy guy like yourself is here to attend the Iridori Festival.
Preparing festivals falls under the Yashiro Commission's scope of responsibilities. Seeing as Lady Yae has poured her heart and soul into the preparations, I'm obliged to be equally dedicated.
Come now, Ayato. We're not strangers here. There's no need to sound so formal. We were just about to discuss the boards over here. They're related to our little helper's tasks, so I'll let you give them a detailed rundown.
Certainly. I assume you two already know that the Iridori Festival originated from the 5 Kasen. These 5 boards are here for painting their portraits. This Iridori Festival is not only the first major festival to be held in Inazuma since the lifting of the Sakoku decree, it is also an event deeply rooted in culture and the arts. Therefore, the Yashiro Commission has personally invited several cultural celebrities from other nations. For example, the artist we have invited to paint these portraits hails from the distant land of Mondstadt. The Yashiro Commission will arrange accommodations and food in Inazuma for each of the distinguished guests. However, we fear that staying in a foreign land may feel a little uncomfortable, which is precisely why it would be ideal to have someone familiar with both Inazuma and other nations of Teyvat to serve as a guide for our guests. I knew you would catch on. It is our hope that you would be able to guide the guests from the harbor to their residence at the International Trade Association, while providing any necessary assistance along the way. This arrival schedule includes the details of the ships on which the guests will be arriving. All you simply have to do is go to the docks at the indicated times.
Okay, 2 days before the festival, ship and quest. Large passenger ship bought from Mondstadt. Large passenger ship bought from a quest painter, Kaos and his dependent. Center time 8 AM. Second day of the festival, ship and quest ship. Oh, Leo juga ada, guys. Calligrapher, painter from the UA, theater mechanicus buyer, and a quest writer send you estimated time 10 AM. Third day at the stop over on person jam 9. The day following the last events 2 person. Okay.
It's settled then. My, look at the
Kok jadi
time.
LO anjir?
I have to meet with my editors, so I must be going now. During the festival, most of the Yae publishing house's editors will be staying near the Outlander Affairs Agency.
Ngurusin para tamu
If you
anjir.
run into any problems, you may find them there.
This festival requires the full cooperation of the Tri-Commission, and there are still many minor details which require my attention, so I must excuse myself for now. I'll leave the guests in your hands.
Okay.
All the details details we need about the ships are on the timetable that Ayato gave us.
Oke.
Let's take a closer look and be sure to pick up the
Wait
passengers
until
according
the
to the
following
times
day.
written on it.
Oke, kita akan menunggu di penginapan. Anggap ini penginapan, guys. Jam 6 ya. Tapi nggak tahu nih. Kayaknya bukan jam 6 ini deh. Coba jam 6 ini ya. Kayaknya belum deh. Besoknya. Ntar kita lihat quest. Masih Act 1 kan? Oh ya, masih Act 1. Oke. Oh ya, masih 24 jam ya. Sorry. Kalau gitu langsung saja kita ubah ke besok. Oke. Ternyata ada dari Liyue juga. Berarti semuanya ya. Kecuali nation yang belum kebuka, Sumeru gitu. Oke.
According to the arrival schedule, there will be a ship arriving from Mondstadt today.
Oke.
The artists for the 5 Kasim portraits should be on board. The boat should be arriving soon,
Loh,
so let's head down to the
benderanya
dock.
kenapa Gucci woi, sangat pede sekali kalau Raiden Shogun kan ya emang dia pemimpin negara anjir. Udah datang nih guys. Wih. Siapa ini? Udah jelas Bart tuh Fenty kan. Oke, masih belum tahu nih siapa.
Hello, you must be here to take part in the Iridori Festival. We're the festival guides, and we'll show you around.
Yes, that's right. We are bards
Oh.
from Mondstadt.
Mereka
Word
Bartsnya
has it
kok
that
bukan
Inazuma
Fenty.
has undergone many changes of late. We hope to find fresh inspiration here.
These guests are all bards, aren't they? Well, where's Tondeaf Bard then? Strange. He's pretty famous in Mondstadt. Do you think he didn't receive an invitation? Huh? Why's that?
Well, you know.
Oh, Paimon sees what you're getting at. Even though Venti no longer rules over Mondstadt, he's still an Archon. If he came rushing to Inazuma at the first mention of a festival,
Udah
not only
kelihatan
would
ya.
it seem a little childish, it would also sort of be shameless of him too.
Miss Honorary Knight, Paimon!
It's Keluh! Were you also invited to the Iridori Festival?
No, Albedo's the one who received the invitation. But because everyone in the Knights of Favonius has been really busy these days, Albedo arranged for someone here to issue me a dependent pass.
Greetings, Traveler and Paimon. After hearing that Inazuma was making preparations for the Irodori Festival, I predicted that I might run into you here.
Ha! Paimon knew it! Albedo's the one they've invited to paint the 5 Kasen!
It seems that you already know why I'm here. Just so you're aware, I'll be using my pen name in Inazuma, Calx. Oh, by the way, do you know where the International Trade Association is? I'll be meeting with the editorial director of the Yai Publishing House there.
Yeah, the International Trade Association is where you'll be staying in Inazuma. We'll be heading there too.
Great. Let's get going then.
Diajak adiknya. Oke. Wah, pakai teleport aja lah, lama anjir. Oke.
Wow, it's so beautiful here! So many things I've never seen before.
Slow down, Klee. Please be careful not to bump into others. Telling Klee so many stories about Inazuma during the trip was probably not the best idea. As a result, she could hardly sleep all the way here. It appears she's even more excited now that we've arrived. Strange. It seems that the editorial director, Mr. Hiroyama, isn't here yet. I'm certain he said that he'd be sure to arrive before me. This might be a problem.
What's wrong?
Mr. Hiroyama was supposed to meet with me and give me some reference
Anjir,
materials
jualan
about the
boneka
5
juga
Kasen
anjir.
today. That way, I could better visualize the content for my paintings.
You mean you had no idea what you'd be painting before you arrived in Inazuma?
I only know of the 5 Kasen by name. Because of the sheer age of the tale, very little has been passed down to this day. So Mr. Hiroyama decided to help me collect some more information. I'm the type of painter who can complete a painting quickly as long as I'm inspired. So I agreed on only receiving the details today.
So when do the paintings have to be done by?
According to the festival plans, the portraits will be revealed one at a time throughout the various stages of the Irodori Festival. The first one, depicting Suiko, will need to be done before the festival's official opening ceremony, which is the day after tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow? Then you're already running out of time!
There's no need to panic. When I was working on light novel illustrations, because the manuscripts are shipped by boat, things were always tight and finished at the last minute. Just last month, to ensure the latest book of A Legend of Sword would be finished for the Irodori Festival, I had to complete the final chapter's illustrations the same day I received the manuscript. I heard that my illustrations were sent to print as soon as they arrived in Inazuma. I still don't know how well they turned out.
Paimon isn't sure if she should feel sympathetic for your working conditions or compliment you on your artistic genius.
Of course, I would still prefer to receive any possible reference materials in advance, so that I can be better prepared.
Oh, right! The editors of the Yai Publishing House will all be around the Outlander Affairs Agency these next few days. Who knows? Maybe Mr. Hirayama's over there too. We'll take you over there to see if we can find him, Albedo.
Alright, it's worth a try.
Ngapain tuh, Kli?
Klee, you haven't slept for a while now. Please stay at our residence in the International Trade Association and get some rest. We will be back soon.
Okie dokie. Don't worry, Albedo. I'll be on my best behavior.
Oke.
This can't be happening. The moment we need to contact
Wah,
Onodera
hilang,
is when
anjir.
he's on special leave.
Hilang anjir.
Kuroda and I will
Onodera.
go back to Inazuma City for
Sudah kelihatan
emergency printing run.
mencurigakan anjir.
The demand for this book is so high, though. Even with the emergency prints, it still might not be enough.
Despite everything, we're still lucky that we found out today. If this had happened a few days later, then we'd really be in boiling water.
Gue ketawa lihat benderanya anjir.
Hey, do you think that suspicious guy they found in the warehouse has anything to do with this?
Well, the editorial director is on his way over there to investigate the situation as we speak.
Sorry to interrupt, but what's going on here?
Oh, hey, Traveler. Don't worry. It's nothing, just an internal issue. That's all. How can I help you?
I'm looking for the editorial director, Mr. Hirayama. Does anyone know where he is now?
Mr. Hirayama is currently at the warehouse down by the harbor.
Oh, hold on a second, Murata. Excuse me, but you must be Calx, the one who was invited to paint the 5 Kasen for the festival?
Yes, that's me.
My name is Kuroda. You must be inquiring about information regarding the 5 Kasen. I do apologize, but please make yourself comfortable at the International Trade Association, and I will let Mr. Hirayama know to send you the materials right away.
Oh, no need. You guys look super busy, so we can go find him ourselves.
About that.
Excuse me, but is there something wrong with the latest volume of A Legend of Sword?
Huh? How did you know?
Since you were all aware that Mr. Hirayama needed to send me some supporting materials, that means the editorial director didn't forget about it. Instead, something urgent must have cropped up. To add to that, despite being aware that I am Calx, you were still unwilling to let me go to Mr. Hirayama directly. After considering these factors, the only reason you would try to stall me is if something happened to A Legend of Sword, which I did the illustrations for.
Well, I'm very sorry. The situation is just as you said, Calx. I suppose it doesn't hurt to tell you now. Earlier today, someone spotted a suspicious outlander sneaking around inside the Irodori Festival warehouse down by the docks. So they promptly alerted the Tenryou Commission. The Tenryou Commission was concerned about potential cargo theft, so they contacted everyone who was renting space in the warehouse. It was then that we realized that the latest copies of A Legend of Sword had suddenly gone missing.
What? The books are missing?
Itu
Not
dia
so
anjir.
loud. Not only is this book an eagerly anticipated release in the last phase of the Iridori Festival, but the author, Chin-Yu, will be personally attending the release party as well.
Because of the dire situation, Mr. Hirayama immediately hurried to the warehouse to determine whether the theft was related to that suspicious outlander.
I see. It would be a
Autornya
great
tuh si
misfortune if The
Sing-Qiu
Legend
kan
of
kalau nggak
Sword
salah.
would not be released
Terus
on
datang besok
schedule.
ya, mungkin Act 2
And
guys dia
quite a
datang.
disappointment for Chin-Yu as well.
Namanya jadi
If Mr.
Zenyu anjir.
Hirayama has gone to the warehouse
Kayaknya
at the
iya deh,
docks,
kalau gua nggak
then
salah
I'll
ya.
go down to see if I can be of any help.
Kan yang bikin
So the
ilustrasi
author
emang
of The Legend
Al-Budi,
of Sword is
tapi yang nulis
G.
ceritanya si...
Sounds familiar.
Nah iya kan?
Hey,
Iya kan?
isn't it Xingqiu's pen name?
Oh, do you know him?
Xingqiu would definitely be upset if he discovers his books are missing. Let's accompany Albedo to the warehouse too.
Oke, kita ke warehouse. Ya kan, Xingqiu kan? Wah ini, what is he doing? Kucu Sara pula. Anjir, ketangkep Kucu Sara, anjir, Kucu berubah.
It's you! Why are you here?
I'm here on behalf of the Tenryou Commission, of course. Is that surprising?
No, Sarah,
Bukan
I wasn't
ente.
talking about you. So, Tone Deaf Bard, a suspicious outlander in the warehouse wouldn't happen to be you, would it?
Considering the evidence, it appears that the suspicious outlander is
Indeed me.
me.
As I have told you, you are a suspect. Before your allegations of theft and illegal entry as a stowaway are cleared, you are to remain silent. Don't make me say it again. Traveler, Paimon, do you know this self-proclaimed bard from Mondstadt?
Listen, Sarah. Knowing him, it's safe to say that he wasn't behind the theft. But what's this about being a stowaway?
Although he claims to be a special guest for the Iridori Festival, he's failed to present his invitation letter. Therefore, we can only suspect that he might have entered the country illegally. And just a moment ago, we caught him in a dandelion wine crate near the Sailing Breeze. If it would help shed any light on the situation, then please, be my guest.
Oh, Fenty! You didn't really come here illegally, did you?
Ouch, your words wound me. We've been apart for so long, and the moment we meet again, all I'm greeted with is grilling questions and suspicious glares. You arrived in Inazuma via similar means, or so I heard. You of all people should be more understanding, don't you think?
Similar means?
That's not bring up us now.
I merely jest. Fear not, for the person who sent me the invitation is none other than Kamisato Ayato of Yashiro Commission. It's unlikely that someone acquainted with the likes of him would ever be here illegally, right?
But why weren't you on the same ship as the other bards?
Well, once I received the invitation letter, I couldn't help but want to come to Inazuma a little early. It was then that I happened upon a cargo ship bound for Inazuma transporting dandelion wine. So, naturally, I decided to set sail with them. Once aboard, I found the captain to be a kindred spirit, and I was treated to an abundance of fine liquor along the way. I must have fallen asleep in the cargo crate while carefully comparing the tastes of dandelion wine and Inazuman sake. And when I woke up, I found myself in this warehouse with a Tenryou Commission general glaring at me from atop the grate.
Coming from Venti, this story is quite believable. But it still feels a bit...
Excuse me, I'm the owner of the stolen goods from the IA Publishing House, and there are some questions I would like to ask you. Based on what you just said, it seems you've been in the warehouse for some time now. If that's the case, did you happen to hear anything unusual?
Actually, I did hear some faint footsteps around me a couple of times, but I didn't consider the sound anything out of the ordinary.
Hmm? But if you clearly heard something, why didn't you feel it was unusual?
Oh, I seem to understand now.
Huh? What did you notice, Albedo?
When it comes to burglars, they are generally associated with prying or rummaging through things.
What Venti means is that he did not hear anything unusual like that. As for the sound of footsteps, because this is a warehouse where many goods are coming in and out each day, it is quite normal for people to be walking around.
I see. But if that's the case, then we're back to square one regarding the stolen books.
No, not quite. From the facts that have been presented to us, we can draw at least 3 conclusions now. First, whoever took the novels is not a spur-of-the-moment burglar. They had their sights on the books from the very beginning. Second, the culprit was very familiar with the warehouse, and might even have a key. And third, I knew you'd catch on, Traveler. One person couldn't possibly transport so many heavy books in such a short window of time. It must have been a team effort.
Iya,
It goes without
pasti
saying
gak
that
cuma
Venti
satu orang.
clearly does not match up with our culprits.
Yes, I agree with your reasoning. Mr. Hirayama, the Tenryo Commission will continue by investigating the warehouse staff. If you come across any further clues, please notify us immediately.
Yes, understood. I'll leave it to you then.
I suppose I'm free as a bird then.
Not so fast. Even though we've cleared the theft allegations, we still haven't ascertained whether your arrival in Inazuma was legal or not.
Aw, 'tis a shame. I thought surely after my honest account you might let me off the hook.
Sara's quite the meticulous one. So, where's your invitation letter, Venti?
Yes, the invitation letter. I'm truly sorry. I can't seem to remember where I may have put it.
How could you lose something so important?
Don't be mistaken. I was well aware of how important it was. But I didn't bring any luggage with me, and the letter was too big to fit in my pocket. So I kept it in my hand the whole trip. Strange. Though I had a little too much to drink, I know that I kept it in a secure place. I even recall being most pleased at coming up with a good idea at the time.
If you were holding the invitation in your hand the whole time, then why did you put it down?
Well, to properly compare the taste of Mondstadt wine and Inazuman sake, I had to hold a glass in each hand. I couldn't both hold the invitation and a glass at the same time. But surely I wouldn't put it in just any random place. It could easily be misplaced.
In which case, I believe there's only one place it could be. Have you figured it out, Traveler?
Huh? You're way ahead of Paimon. Do you two already know where the invitation letter is?
Ah, yes! I remember now. I knew you'd help me find it.
Di topinya.
This is indeed an invitation letter issued by the Yashiro Commission. Now that we've confirmed this guest's identity, I have no further questions. However, starting tonight, I would advise you to stay at the International Trade Association. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be leaving now.
There goes Sara. All right, let's go talk to Mr. Hirayama about Albedo's reference materials.
Mr. Hirayama, I'm Calx. We had originally arranged to meet today.
Ah, yes, so you are, Calx. I'm very sorry that you arrived in Inazuma only to find such a mess. These are the materials regarding the 5 Kassen. All the information that we could find is compiled here.
Blah 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 blah. I don't know. Ya kan?
Let's see here.
Terlalu
Yes,
panjang,
it's
guys.
just as I had suspected. Monikers such as Suiko and Aoi no Okina aren't the real names of the 5 Kassen. Though there were once many stories regarding each of the 5 Kassen, the validity of their contents can no longer be verified in present times. Alas, what a shame. But, at the very least, we know that most of the stories were written according to a similar style. So there is still something we may glean from this.
So, is the info useful for your paintings, Albedo?
To some extent, yes. However, I must admit that it is still lacking and fails to fulfill the most crucial element. Inspiration.
I am sorry that this information is not as exhaustive as you had hoped. However, it is not possible to gather anything more at the moment. Though, Lady Yai did say that there are many variations of the story about the 5 Kassen, and everyone has a different story in their heart. So all you need to do is follow through with what's in your own heart and create something that you yourself find interesting.
That does sound like something Miko would say.
Thank you, Mr. Hirayama. No need to worry. I'll find inspiration for the portraits.
Great. I'll leave it to you then, Calx. Oh, and there's one more thing I need to ask of everyone. Tomorrow morning, Mr. Genyu, the author of The Legend of Sword, will be arriving in Inazuma by boat. If you see him, please do not mention the stolen novels for the time being. Whether the stolen books are eventually recovered or not, the IA Publishing House will do its best to ensure that the novel's release is a success. You have my gratitude. I'll be going then.
Well, seems there's nothing more we can do here. Let's go. Huh? Betty? What are you doing over there? You don't want us to leave you behind, do you?
Traveler, Albedo, would you mind coming over here for a moment? There's something peculiar that I think you should see.
What is it, Venti? A piece of paper?
Indeed. When I awakened to find myself in the warehouse this morning, I discovered this paper in the cargo crate where I was sleeping. I didn't think much of it then. I thought it was merely a scrap piece of paper that had fallen into the cargo. After a quick glance, I stuffed it into a place nearby. But on second thought, I think it's worth having you take a look at what's written on it.
Let me see. Suiko chapter. Wait a minute. Isn't Suiko the name of one of the 5 Kasen?
The story told in this poem roughly boils down to Suiko getting tipsy and letting some poems that were meant for the Shogun get stolen. Ah, this story sounds familiar to my ear. Where have I heard it?
Seriously? It's literally the same story you just experienced yesterday.
Oh, indeed it is. Interesting, isn't it?
Yes, I concur. The person who left this paper could quite possibly be the criminal, or even a witness to the theft. But why leave the paper here in such a fashion? And if the one who left it here was a witness, why didn't they attempt to stop the burglary?
All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Meeting together in Inazuma like this is a most rare occasion. Since we've been busy from the start of the day, let us find an inn with good drink to keep our thirst at bay.
Hey! You just sobered up and you're already thinking about more drinks? And let's not forget that Albedo still has a portrait to complete. We don't have time to be slacking off.
No, it's fine. Let's all go for a drink together. It'll be my treat.
Wait a minute. What about your portrait?
As I mentioned before, I'm the kind of artist who can work quickly once I'm inspired. And now, it seems I've found my source of inspiration. If I use a model as reference for the piece, we must pay him back with the appropriate recompense.
In that case, we'll need to order more dishes. One year, the poet Suiko made his way to Tenshukaku and presented the Kasen's work for the shogun's perusal. But a page from the works of Aoi no Okina had been torn out, and Suiko was questioned regarding the matter.
Kenapa lucu gitu si Shogun?
Suiko pleaded guilty. He admitted to drinking at the tavern the night before, and vaguely recalled a mysterious figure approaching while he was intoxicated.
Wow, you really came through, Albedo. You were able to complete the first portrait before the opening ceremony.
Yes,
Langsung
it
beres,
really
anjir.
is a sight to behold. Not only does it harken to the traditional style of Inazuma, but it also makes use of modern aesthetics. My figure is particularly striking. Even though I'm sound asleep in the portrait, I still appear as glorious as always.
Hey, don't get too full of yourself, Tone Deaf Bard. You were just a model. The person in the artwork isn't actually you. Well, Albedo, who will be your next portrait?
The next one will be Aoi no Okina of the 5 Kasen.
Albedo, might I suggest waiting a little before starting on the next one? Who knows? You might soon discover another story.
Another story?
I believe he's referring to the possibility of finding another paper with tales of the 5 Kasen. According to the reference materials I was given, we've only found the first of a total of 4 chapters.
Do you think the mysterious person who left the first paper will strike again?
It certainly is a possibility. Also, there are some points regarding the stories of the 5 Kasen that have left me rather curious. For example, the reference materials make mention of 5 legendary figures, yet all the popular stories only consist of 4 parts. It appears that throughout all the stories, there is never a chapter dedicated to Kuronushi.
Yes, I'm also curious about these stories myself. But who knows? They may merely be akin to the old saying in Mondstadt. Seeds of stories brought by the wind and cultivated by time. So for now, we need but just wait patiently.
Hey, sudah beres guys, Act 1. Jadi seperti itu ya. Jadi mungkin setiap part ini ya, apa namanya? Oh, apa ini? Eventnya kah? Oh, sudah terbuka ya. Jadi 5 kasen akan digambar oleh Albudi semua. Kita udah dapat 1 cerita. Dan kayaknya si pencuri ini yang meninggalkan apa ya namanya? Petunjuk. Jadi kan Albudi jadi terinspirasi gara-gara ada kertas yang ketinggalan, terus kita makan, terus dapat inspirasi, terus dapat gambar ini. Coba kita cek dulu apa ini. Cuma hadiahnya doang kali ya. Oh, go to quest. Oke. Kita cek dulu guys, ini apa? Oh, bentar guys, kita cek eventnya dulu. Langsung kah? Legend of Kasen, gua lihat dulu guys. Oh iya. Oke, jadi ada 2 ya, Legend of the Kasen sama Story for You. Jadi mungkin gini aja guys, kan ini ada banyak, maksudnya ada berhari, ada 15 hari. Sedangkan ini ada 8 lah ya, 8. Jadi kita gantian aja. Jadi habis The True Tales of the Violet Garden, bukan entar malam. Ya, gua mungkin recordnya entar malam, tapi maksudnya besok, untuk episode besok kita ini dulu ya, A Story for You. Jadi Albudi waiting bla 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 bla. Jadi kita selesaikan satu persatu, tidak usah buru-buru seperti biasa. Tidak usah apa ya namanya? Tidak usah tergesa-gesa. Masih ada 15 hari di tanggalan gua, meskipun ntar uploadnya mungkin tinggal seminggu mungkin. Jadi nggak masalah. Jadi apa ya namanya? Gua akan tidak usah terburu-buru. Jadi satu-satu aja. Jadi besok sebelum ke Act 2 kita ke part 1 yang ini dulu aja. Oke. Setelah ini beres, baru habis itu Act 2, terus part 2 ya, bergantian gitu aja. Oke. Tidak usah buru-buru karena ya itu tadi. Setelah ini juga updatean Hoyoverse-nya juga masih bakal lama gitu loh. Jadi tidak usah buru-buru, santai aja untuk event ini. Jadi hari ini kita akhiri dulu di sini aja. Thank you buat yang udah nonton, like dan subscribe, yang udah share dan komen juga, dan bersyukur tidak mati lampu lagi ya. Ini The True of the Violet Garden Act 2. Kita cancel navigation dulu. Oke. Jadi yang besok lusa berarti ya. Lusa kita bakal dapat quest lagi, yaitu dari Ryue ya, yang jam 10 tadi sesuai catatan yang dikasih sama Yamiko. Besok itu kedatangannya si siapa ini? Singxiu, oke. Terus tapi sebelum itu kita bakal nyelesain yang tadi ya, yang part 1 dulu, habis itu baru kita ke Act 2, oke. So jadi segitu dulu aja. Thank you sekali lagi, thank you juga buat yang udah share dan komen juga. Sampai bertemu besok and have a good day. Bye bye.